The U.S. Energy Department is revealing new information about how the COVID-19 pandemic may have started.
So it's a classified report that's been publicly reported from the department, and it concluded with so-called low confidence that it is at least plausible that the virus originated from a laboratory leak. Sources have told CBS News that they believe this report is independent, or maybe at least from an earlier analysis that pointed toward an accidental leak at a lab in Wuhan, China. There is still no consensus in the intel community on the origins of COVID-19.
Joining us now is CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, what does it mean for the Energy Department to say with, quote, low confidence that it is, quote, plausible COVID-19 originated from a lab? How should we interpret that?
One of two ways, Lilia. I'm told that, when an agency says it has low confidence in a conclusion, it could either mean that they just don't have very much data, so they're drawing this conclusion with very few data points, or that they don't believe that that data that they do have is particularly strong. We don't know which one it is in this case. We haven't been able to get a look at whatever the new intelligence or new analysis is that has led the Department of Energy to come to this conclusion. But what we do know, as you pointed out, is that there is not consensus at this point across the U.S. government. You've got the Department of Energy and the FBI now saying that they believe that the virus originated from a lab leak. You've got 4 other U.S. agencies saying that they believe that most likely it was naturally transmitted. In other words, that the virus jumped from an animal to a human. And then there are 2 other agencies, including the CIA, who say that they can't draw a conclusion at this time. So it gives you a sense of how all these different U.S. agencies are looking at more or less the same information. They're finding different pieces of intelligence to be particularly significant to them. They all have different specialties, and they're drawing this variety of conclusions. So it's very difficult to say at this point which of these viewpoints will win out at the end of the day, if they ever do.
Yeah, Nancy, this, in the intel world, they draw a distinction between secrets and mysteries. Secrets are something somebody knows. Mysteries are something that nobody knows. And this seems to fall into the latter category, despite the best efforts of multiple agencies and departments. It's clearly a hot button political issue. We're going to hear a lot more of it going into 2024. I wonder at this point, do we think, from where we are now, that we'll ever know with confidence where this pandemic started?
Well, the problem is, if we go back to your secrets versus mysteries analogy, is that it's the Chinese, in this case, who may be holding on to some of those secrets, and they don't tend to share those secrets with the United States or with most other countries in the world. We simply don't have, I'm told by U.S. officials, the same kind of information sharing relationship with the Chinese that we have with so many other countries. And the U.S. and the World Health Organization have been rebuffed time after time when they've tried to get information from the Chinese, and there's no way to verify that the information they are getting hasn't been doctored in some way. And so what they're really relying on here is the U.S.'s intelligence capabilities, and U.S. intelligence agencies will be the first to tell you it's very difficult to get eyes into China, particularly into the scientific community, and we're relying on scientific relationships between the Chinese scientific community and others in the world, and neither of those are perfect. And so you're right, it's a very frustrating and difficult situation, and obviously there are so many people here in the U.S. and around the world that just want to know where this virus originated so that they can prevent a similar outbreak in the future, and they just don't have all of the information that they would need to draw that conclusion.
And Nancy, if you don't mind, I'd like to shift gears to another frustrating and difficult situation concerning health. Over the weekend, environmental officials confirmed that the air quality remains, quote, normal in East Palestine, Ohio, following the fiery train derailment. How's the Biden administration pushing back on criticism over the administration's response?
Well, today the way they're pushing back is by sending us a very detailed 4-page write-up of every single thing that the federal administration has done to help the people of East Palestine and to respond to this crisis since the hours after the derailment took place back on Friday, February 3rd. They're making the case that even if you don't see the president in East Palestine, even if it took a few weeks for a cabinet official like Secretary Buttigieg of the Department of Transportation to show up in person, that they have been taking steps all along the way to respond to the needs of the community and to analyze any health risks that might crop up there. Beyond that, the president said in an interview a couple days ago that anything that the people there need, he wants them to have. We've been told that federal workers are now going door to door and have knocked on 400 doors so far to check in with residents there to see if they're okay and to see if they need anything. But the administration at the same time is making the case, look, this is Norfolk Southern's responsibility, and they're going to work on the cleanup. But really, Norfolk Southern, they argue, has to step up because it was their train that derailed.
Yeah. All right.
People want his confidence and consequences.
Yeah. Nancy Cordes. Nancy, thank you.
You're welcome.